Hello everybody, Ryan here, we're MandRproductions, and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars Episode 9 Millennium Falcon. Its set number is 75257, it includes 1,351 pieces, and is recommended for ages 9 and up. The 7 minifigs included are Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, C-3PO, Finn, Boolio, R2-D2, and Dio. So very good figure selection. In my opinion, this Millennium Falcon makes some changes. Brings some real change to the table as far as Millennium Falcon design goes. Obviously, gets rid of the gaps that we saw a lot in the older Millennium Falcons. Looking at you guys over there, they're just waiting for the comparison video coming soon on my channel. They are really waiting for that. That's going to be an insane video to take a look at all the Millennium Falcons that LEGO has made. We of course have the side box art, and then the back of the box is going to show the Millennium Falcon in kind of a forest jungle area there, and then you have the Falcon landed. Looks pretty nice there. You see the features of the Falcon inside of the golden boxes, which is pretty nice way to separate everything. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you old Lando Calrissian. You can see he's even got some gray hair on his face, got the receding hairline, which I think is pretty funny. This character, compared to the solo version of Lando, is just quite a stark contrast. Obviously so much older with the receding hairline and gray hair, still kind of retaining that yellow outfit though, which I think is pretty cool. He's got his walking stick in his left hand, and in his right hand he's got a silver blaster with a weird extension on it. It kind of looks like it's supposed to be a bowcaster, but I'm not really sure. You guys can help me out in the comment section below on exactly what type of blaster that is supposed to be in the Star Wars universe. His torso print has like a V-neck going on there, so you can see some skin underneath, and then you have some different straps and like belt things going on his torso. Just plain black legs. Really cool thing about him is he's got the double-sided cape, so the inside is blue, the outside is black, and there are two capes, so the one little one to go up and around the neck behind the head. Obviously, we're going to have a double face on this Lando. And there is his second face, and he does have some back printing. It's just like a little strap. It's nothing special at all under there, like, yeah. But yeah, Lando Calrissian in the old form. What is a LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon without Chewbacca? We get Chewbacca in the set to no surprise. He is the same old Chewbacca that we've had for a few years now, and he's got his stud shooter bowcaster, which is a pretty cool weapon, just something that LEGO made a few years back and has been sticking around, and I really like it. So very nice Chewbacca figure. We've also got C-3PO in the set, who looks very awesome. I think they did a great job with C-3PO. They've been upgrading him for years, and this is like the pinnacle of C-3PO, I think, right now. We do see in the trailer that he does have red eyes, and I don't know where in the film this Millennium Falcon is supposed to be set from, like where the figures are from essentially, and you know, maybe he didn't have red eyes at the time, but oh my god, would it have been cool to get a red eye C-3PO. Hopefully we get one in the future with another set or a polybag, kind of like we did with the red arm C-3PO, so I'd love to see it happen, but as of now, just kind of a regular old C-3PO, and his eyes look a little bit offset to me. Do they look a little offset to you? Like they look like they're looking off to the side. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Here we have Finn with some dark blue legs, a weird tan color for the torso, a dark tan color for his arms, and of course the brown head. He's got a very worried look on his face. I actually really like the hairpiece they used for him. This is the first time they used that hairpiece on Finn. Got a very cool look to it, especially with the lighting. Then we pull that off, you'll see his second face a lot happier. Yay, happy Finn. Very nice back print. He's got his little satchel on. I wonder what he's carrying in the satchel. Got a little holster on his leg for his blaster that he's carrying in his right hand. It's kind of the gunmetal gray blaster, so I like that a lot. There is the brand new Finn. One more spin around for the road. The most exclusive character to this set is this guy. His name is Boolio, and as of the recording of this video, I don't know anything about him. His name is just Boolio, and that is the funniest thing or name in Star Wars, I think. Come on now, Boolio, bro? Like, we can't go wrong with that. He's got a, like, sand green head with yellow horns, and the horns are, of course, a little bit rubberized so they don't snap in half. You don't want a snapped horn Boolio, so very cool torso print. Looks like he's wearing some kind of jumpsuit or pilot suit with, like, tubes and straps or something, like, something's going on there. So that is Boolio. He's a weird character, and I can't wait to find out more about him in episode 9 when I see it. But of course, when I'm filming this, I don't know anything. We get another R2-D2. Everyone knows what R2-D2 looks like. At least I hope so. And this is the first time you're ever watching a LEGO Star Wars video. And lastly, we received Dio. We also get this guy in the Resistance Y-Wing Starfighter, so this is not exclusive to this set, but it's one of 2 sets that he comes in as of now. Very nice character. It's an all-in-one mold. He's got a little stud on the back, so you can connect things to it, like R2-D2 if you want. I mean, I'm just saying that's something you can do. Very funny looking, but you know, you pick your poison there. It's Lego. You play with it how you want. He has a nice tip on the end that's colored green. Might be dual molded, I can't tell, but might just be dipped in paint or something. Just a nice Dio character. Doesn't do anything, doesn't move at all. No posability, but it's got the one stud on the bottom and the stud on the back there. So there you go, Dio, and that is all the minifigures in the Millennium Falcon. Not a bad selection at all. And here is the beautiful LEGO Star Wars Episode 9 Millennium Falcon, and I guess we'll start with the most obvious change of this Falcon versus old Millennium Falcons, and that is that they have figured out how to make the panels not have gaps. That has been a problem ever since the 2004 LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon, even though the version before that used giant UFO panels, which technically didn't have gaps. This one is the first one to really not have gaps and use a brick-built method. So that's very cool. We'll get to that a little bit more later on. The front side of the Millennium Falcon has a pretty cool feature. It's the integrated spring-loaded shooters here, and you can push them off through the little holes in the top of the Falcon there, and they're going to shoot off. We all know how spring-loaded shooters work, or at least I hope we do. You literally just push on it and it's gone. This set does include an extra spring-loaded shooter. There's 2 there, and then you'll have an extra one in case you were to lose one. The overall design of these panels that jut out the front of the Falcon is actually pretty good. They actually go out a little bit farther than before. They use a bit wider wedge plates than the previous Millennium Falcons, and again, this will be shown a lot more in depth when I do my Millennium Falcon comparison video in the future, so check the description for that link, and if it's available, I will have it there. And there's a nice look at the front of the Falcon there, and moving up and into this panel here, which runs all the way up to almost the center of the Falcon. It's actually got some pretty nice greebling, pretty simple design, but effective, I suppose. Just kind of fits with the rest of the theme of the set. You can lift it up and pull it forward to actually get at some of the interior there. This is the first way, or the first thing you have to pull off if you want to pull these panels up, because otherwise it's going to be holding them down, so you're not going to be able to pull them up. But yeah, we'll pull that up, and out of the way, it just folds down right into the front section of the Falcon. I will say, maybe the front landing gear is not positioned forward enough, because anytime I touch this, it wants to really lean forward, and I don't remember that being a problem on older sets, but maybe I'm just misremembering it. You have the round radar dish, which is returning for Episode 9, I suppose. It spins around. It's actually one of the sturdiest radar dishes LEGO's ever put on the Millennium Falcon. You can see they actually use a little Technic piece and a ball joint to create that, and that's actually really good. I like what they've done here, so great job LEGO on this particular radar dish design. I know it's like a small change, but it's something that matters. Just the little fine things. You have a little bit of damage here, perhaps from a stray TIE Fighter blaster bullet, and a little bit of greebling work. So as you can tell, these panels do not have gaps, and that's because they've changed the design. The inside of the panel now looks like that. It all comes off as one there. All will essentially be 3 panels on the older set. You're going to see a similar thing going on here with actually a very interesting solution to have a hinge for it, because otherwise it's not on the same type of design area as this side of the set and the back too. So they essentially use these small little hinge plate pieces and then cover them with inverted tiles to strengthen the connection. But I mean, it's a pretty straightforward design, and I don't think any of these pieces haven't been around for the last decade. So I'm actually really wondering why it took them so long to come up with this. Maybe it was just the shaping of the old Falcon and they needed something else to like figure this stuff out. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why this hasn't been a design for the last decade. Maybe it's just something they just didn't figure out until now. It seems like a simple solution, but again, so many things seem simple once you actually figure them out, but maybe they just hadn't figured it out. So not really sure what the story behind that whole design is, but I'm not going to say I don't like it, because it's pretty awesome to have no gaps on the Millennium Falcon. As far as the back panels are concerned, they're going to look like this, a little bit of dark gray mixed in with the light gray, some nice red greebling. You have the vents on the back as usual. They use some of the painter pieces there for greebling. Very cool. And these, again, all pull off as one here, except for the center one that has to be separate. And so that creates like 3 panels there, and very minimal gappage. That's a new word I just made up, and you can add it to the dictionary. Gappage. Very little gappage. You can see some gaps going on at the like center area of the ship here, but I mean, they have really minimalized it and cleaned up the Millennium Falcon, in my opinion. Here we have more of the ventilation. Same thing on the cockpit side of the Falcon, and then we have one of the turrets up top, actually, which uses that same ball joint as the radar dish there. And you can see that's going to allow you to move this with relative ease. Unfortunately, unless you have 2 hands on it, it will pull up if you pull up on it. But very cool, very strong and sturdy. Got a little sticker on there, has a little window piece. And if you pull it up, you're actually going to reveal a small little seating area where you can actually take one of your characters. We'll bring Finn right on over here. You can sit him down and have him man the turret. And so there he is, ready to go. Very small and simple design. Gonna fit right in there. Nothing else really going on in there. Drop him on in. He looks real scared. Woo, like a thrill ride. And there we go. Also really like the design they did around this circular area on the center. I think that's kind of new compared to some of the older Falcons. Very nice greebling going on there. So no real complaints about that at all. And before we get to the interior, we're gonna have to take a look at the cockpit, which uses the same cockpit piece and the front piece as previous Millennium Falcons, I believe. I don't think anything is really different about that print at all. And if we pull this off, we're actually going to be able to fit some figures in here, as well as see the little control panel we have, as well as the control panel sticker. That one's printed on the top there, the cheese slope, and the brick piece is actually a sticker. And we can actually fit a couple of characters in here. We can take Chewbacca, and on the box I actually show, or at least on the back side of the box, I actually show Finn in here, but we just put him in the middle of the ship, so he's kind of out of order for now. So we're going to actually use C-3PO just for the demonstration. And they actually include a little stud in the back for you to stick Dio onto, which is actually pretty cute as well. So you can technically fit 3 characters in there. It's still really small, really cramped, but it does work for the most part. No complaints from me. I didn't really expect to be able to fit all the characters in there or anything, but there you go. C-3PO, Chewbacca, and Dio hiding in there. Very nice little cockpit area. And again, this whole cockpit is like recessed back from previous versions, so that's actually really nice. And they actually did a nice job stickering it up on here. Make sure you take your time with these stickers. You want to make sure they are lined up, because otherwise they're going to look a bit whack. You don't want that. All right, so let's open up the Falcon, all the panels. There we go. 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So you have 6 panels. They all open up. Which actually creates a pretty cool look when they're all open. Just very different than the older Millennium Falcons, so I can appreciate that, I think. Moving in here, we're going to have this very nice control panel area. Not really sure what that does, but you have a nice seat for any character you want to sit down in there as well. This is actually a very cool, uniquely designed seat. You have the hollow chessboard over here, which we've seen on previous sets. That's nothing really new. You also have some very nice seating over here. My only complaint about this seating is that the middle seat is not locked. It's actually on one of those spinny plates. And as you can see, it really does have a lot of wiggle room there, which is unfortunate. I wish they had just made it a bit tighter. Over here, we have a box with nothing in it, and then really nothing else going on that side of the Falcon's interior. Like, the front side is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't think anything out of the ordinary is going on there. So we'll actually just close that up, spin it around. You can hear the landing gear scraping on the table. And there is the back part of the interior. You have a couple of beds for some of your minifigures to lay on. Maybe Boolio wants to take a little nap. There you go, Boolio. Close your eyes, Boolio. Boolio. Boolio is not listening. We have what I think would be the hyperdrive there, and then we have some other like connection and different tube pieces going on here. And then back here we actually have this box, which has nothing in it. And here, nothing in it, but you can open it if you want. Just kind of sticks onto that jumper tile there. And we have a little seat, a little coffee mug, and a little grill with a pan on it. Why is there a cooking area on the Millennium Falcon? I guess they have to eat in space, right? Usually they don't talk about eating in Star Wars, but they did put it in there, which is actually pretty neat. Usually stuff like that is omitted from the Falcon, but it's a nice different detail than we've seen in the previous LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcons. We'll just get Lando over here. So what you're going to notice here, you see this big panel, you're like, oh, what is that? You can actually pull this up, and you're actually be able to hide a minifigure under the floorboards of the Falcon. This is a really strong design. They actually integrated it with Technic, and this is going nowhere. Like, you can push on this all day. It's not going to pop out of the bottom, which is great. Very strong, sturdy design. Good feature for that fact. And then we actually have the loading platform over here, which is going to pop down like that. And if we look under the Falcon, you will see it under there. But it's not really effective if you're sitting the Falcon down like this. Like, there's very little room under the Falcon to use that. But it's nice if you're like holding the Falcon up and maybe a friend wants to load a character in from the underneath. It's a nice looking feature, but it's very impractical to actually use. Like, you're not actually going to use that loading ramp to load figures into the set. You're going to open the panels and put them in. So I kind of wish I would do something else with that space, but I'm sure people complain if they took that away, because they've had that in quite a few Millennium Falcon sets. The outer paneling is very nicely greebled here. You can actually see the engines have a very different design, which I really adore. I think the 1x2 trans blue tile is a really cute look. cute's not the right word, very realistic look maybe, and it has white plates underneath which really make the blue pop. I really like that, and it brightens it up a lot. You can see a little bit more greebling over here off to the right of those, and they actually use these very long tube pieces to create the exterior like I guess guardrail of the engine to keep anyone or anything out, I suppose. Not really sure, or at least the thrust area. So that's pretty dope. I think that looks really good in the back there. You can even see, because of the way they have the panels, they actually kind of lift up. They're not perfectly flush with the bottom, and that's just because of the way it's built. It's gonna happen, unfortunately. If we flip the Falcon over, spin her around, and say its name 3 times, it'll appear when you're sleeping. No, I'm just kidding. On the bottom side, though, we are gonna have this very nice turret piece as well, very similar to what we have on top with the ball joint piece going on there, and it's gonna be able to move around. Same exact design. You can just get a great shot of the underside there and how much goes into it. A lot of technic work, a lot of plates to keep everything strongly together. Like I said, with the underneath the floorboards thing, that's not going anywhere. That is very much integrated into the frame of the Millennium Falcon. As far as the landing gear goes, I think I'm right. I think that it is recessed too far back. These ones should be like here, and that would really solve the problem of when you push down or touch anything on the front side. And even when I was touching the cockpit a little bit, give a little give to it, it'll jump forward. So that's not a great thing, but maybe something they can work on for a future iteration of the Falcon. Or maybe even if you were to take this and turn it or something. I don't know. Hey, I just wish that didn't happen the way it does happen, but that's the bottom side of the Falcon. So I just happen to have, just handy, just sitting around, another Millennium Falcon. And I know technically the most recent version of the Falcon is the Kessel Run Falcon compared to this one, but the real comparison to draw is between the 2015 Millennium Falcon from The Force Awakens and the 2019 Millennium Falcon from the Rise of Skywalker. And I will be doing a full comparison video on every LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon in this scale ever. I have the 2011 version there, I have the 2004 version somewhere, and I also have the 2000 version somewhere. So I'm going to dig those out and do the full comparison video. But this is the 2 Falcons that are really to be compared in this review. As you can see, like I said, the cockpit is recessed. It actually looks a bit smaller. Even though these pieces are the exact same size, it just, for whatever reason, it looks smaller. It's less prominent. It's hiding a little bit more in there. I don't know what it is. It does look smaller, though. Actually, the interior of the cockpit, they did use smaller pieces because they actually had to make it lower. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Just a bit smaller on the new one on the inside. I don't know what's going on with that, but you can see they use some similar sticker pieces on top. Not the same, but similar. The radar dish is going to be circular on the new one versus rectangular on the old one. This piece is a lot smaller on the new one. A lot smaller. And like I said, these jut out a bit more. They use the different sloped tile pieces like that. There you go. Very nice, like 45-degree angle versus like 30-degree angle, and I think that really shows a lot. That's one of the biggest, most noticeable differences on the new one. You also notice the panel gaps that I was speaking about, definitely noticeable. And as far as the interior goes, I suppose you guys are going to want to see the interior on the old one. We just saw the interior on the new one, so you can draw your own conclusions, but I think the old one's interior is really messy looking. I do like the chair area though, but they only have 2 chairs instead of 3, so maybe having that one that curves a lot is worth it. This chair is much upgraded on the new one. And what they did with the new one is they basically pushed this back, which I think is more accurate. So instead of having this empty, useless space, you actually get a little bit more space on the front end on the new one. But the new one is actually a little bit smaller than the old one from 2015, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why it's smaller. It just happened to end up smaller. I don't think that was part of their design idea. It just happened to be that way. I think the new design is a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, myself included. New one on the right, old one on the left. You can just see how much cleaner the new one looks, especially with that engine or thrust area being in that very nice blue color. I think it's a real game changer for the Millennium Falcon. It's the first time they've really changed the Millennium Falcon in like 15 years. Let's just take a look at this landing gear underneath, and you can see it's more forward than the older one. So that's my one qualm. And if we do it on this one, you can see it immediately tips forward. Same pressure here, nothing's happening. Overall, the new Millennium Falcon brings a lot to the table. Obviously, my one qualm with it is this. Why is that a thing? It's a real bummer. That's the only major issue with the set. The cockpit being a little small on the inside. That's all right. That's normal. It's expected. The interior is fun. Everything else is pretty good about this set, other than what I just showed you with the placement on the landing gears. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. This is almost as perfect as you can make a Millennium Falcon for LEGO in this play scale. Other than this tomahawk chop problem, This is an awesome set. I really like what they've come up with here. I think they've come up with very creative solutions for some problems that they used to have, and they've really fixed up the Millennium Falcon. I really love the way the engines look, or at least the thrust area looks. They've just done such an amazing job that I think I can't say this is a bad set. And it's not a bad set, because it's so good. I mean, the minifigs are great. You get the Lando, Finn, and exclusive Boolio figures, and then the Dio and Chewbacca and the C-3PO and R2-D2 aren't bad additions either. They're just not exclusive to this set only. If you enjoyed this review, leave a like on it. If you're going to see the comparison video on this set, when it's out, it will be linked in the description. I'll be comparing all of the Millennium Falcons to this set, so just a little look around the room as it is right now. But that's the Millennium Falcon for 2019.